Welcome. Just a quick introduction. I'm Colin Atkinson. I'm actually the director here of CA Management, and we've actually organised this whole seminar today. So thank you for coming. Hopefully those who've been here for a while have enjoyed yourself doing a few things. Just to give you some background of who I am and maybe why you should listen to me. I've been running CA Management since 1986, so that's 26 years putting in accounting software, which is a fair while to actually survive in any sort of industry. We haven't done it always perfectly, but we keep doing it, and we keep trying to make our clients happy. I've been recognised by the Institute of Chartered Accountants as one of the few IT specialists in the Institute. I think there's only about 4 of us in WA, so basically covering off on things like that. And this seminar series we've been doing it with Consell for a few years now. So what I was going to do this afternoon is just talking about job costing. And before we can really sort of do job costing, we've got to define what it is. Seems a funny thing to say what job costing, because when I talk to people, everyone has a different idea of what it is. If I sat here and I had a class and I asked you all to tell me, I think we'd end up with about 20 different answers, because everyone has to think at what it is. If I have a quick look at what it is, simple words, but different things to different people. From servicing your car, doesn't like me that, does it? Charging your time, building a house, doing R&D, tenement management, manufacturing item, even building the Northwest Shelf. All of those things can be defined as job costing, and in different businesses they mean different things. Well, I'm going to have a crack here and see if I can get this so it doesn't actually roll through all the time. So if I actually read the definition to you, which is more of a formal definition, it's doing it again. Job costing is the allocation of all time, materials and expenses to an individual project, job, item or event. Key things there: individual project, job, item or event. Everything we do, we're trying to actually break it down into something that's unique. It allows organisations to collect and report their revenue and expenditure associated with these jobs, and then report them against their budgets and forecasts for better management. That was really good. What does it mean in real life? It really means that from a point of view of doing a job, you've got to capture the right information, and everyone that we see tends to want a different set of KPIs. Stop. Stay. Don't understand why it's doing that, but that's something stuck. All right. So everyone wants to have a different piece of information, and the key to job costing is actually capturing that information. Once you've got it, reporting on it is the hard bit. Looking around the room, there doesn't look like there's too many engineers, so I'll abuse the engineers today. Engineers are shockers. They're really good at having a spreadsheet, and every one of them has a different spreadsheet because they want to look at it in a different way. But I'm abusing engineers, but it doesn't mean it's engineers. Every client has a different method of how I manage a job. How much the job, what am I doing? And I was talking to a client yesterday, had 4 of them in the room, 3 of them wanted to report it differently. The last one didn't care, they just wanted something. But it is, everyone wants to know how, why, what. Stay. So the job costing it's a simple question. Oh, it's doing it again. Selling prices. If I've sold it, what did I sell it for? What did it cost me? And it might sound funny, even if you're selling a product, you're doing job costing. And everyone sells a product. I buy it for this and I sell it for that. The challenge is, if you're doing that with a project where you're bringing in lots and lots of different costs, those costs all come in, and you have to then work out what you're going to sell it for. The challenge is if a project lasts 6 months and you have a initial deposit and then progress claims, when do you know you've made a profit? Do you know you're below profits, margins, all those sort of things? Is job costing relevant today? Yes, absolutely. And people sort of talk about that as going, but I don't need to know, I'm busy, I'm making money. having lots of fun here with it. Something's stuck somewhere on my keyboard, but I'm not quite sure what. So if I'm doing that and I'm busy and I'm making money, do I need to cost it? Or if it's quiet, and it's really interesting with our two-speed economy, some people want costing because they're making no money. Other people want costing because they're flat out and they want to make sure they're being efficient. And it really is a matter of saying, how busy are you? Busy doesn't actually define good business practices. You need to start looking at it and saying, where are the problems? What's happening? Where are our margins being made? And getting better job control is quite important, both on the upside and downside of the economy at the moment. So if we have a look at costing, and I've sort of put this picture up and give you a structure. If we look at the accounting software out there today, well, something's not liking me. The job costing systems are fully integrated within everything you do. And most businesses where you're doing costing, they are all part of it. Every part of the business is related to it, be it staff, stock, payroll, admin staff, every person goes into it. There's a whole raft of different types of costing. And we've got what I'd call departmental costing. Departmental costing is where you're trying to break down different departments. You've got project costing, service time, and product costing. I'll look at each one individually just briefly. If we have a look at the departmental costing, we've really got a situation that's where you have general departments. It might be an example of Attaché or MyOb or QuickBooks where you use your chart of accounts to actually break it into departments. And I'll have a look at a department. It might be my sales department. It might be my production department. It might be my admin department. All of those actually have different costs to come through. I have job categories in MyOb which lets me do things. And if I just jump across to MyOb for a minute, I wanted to come in and have a little bit of a look at this so you get a bit of a feel for it. If I'm doing an invoice in MyOb, they let me come through on every invoice, pick a job that I want to cost things to. Those costings, and QuickBooks does a very similar thing. It doesn't call it jobs, it calls it classes. So as you come through and put it to a job, it actually codes it based on whatever that is and whatever the general ledger code is. So it's giving you a one-level reporting. Every general ledger expense account can be tied to a job and will give you a departmental style reporting. For most people, that's really quite powerful. The challenge is with MyOb and QuickBooks, if you're building something in a production thing and it's a work in progress, it actually costs it the moment you put the bills through. So your profit and loss actually bounces all the time. So you actually say, look, this month I won a job and I raised the invoice, so I had a really good month because I billed $10,000, but next month all my costs come in. So as those costs come in next month, I have a shocker. So you get this bounce. And lots of people, when you talk to them about their MyOb and QuickBooks, they can't understand why it won't cost properly. It's because of their timings and things like that. And I'll talk a bit more about why and how that happens. But I just wanted to sort of briefly show you in MyOb how you can cost things through. And that will give you some quite powerful reporting for fairly simple. And when I'm talking that, it's very much about the general departments, being able to break them into jobs and categories, QuickBooks into classes. Things that it's missing is this no work in progress. And without the work in progress, you get the bouncing profit and loss figures, month in, month out, because you're not getting that to round out the figures. Some of the things you don't normally, or you do normally see if you're doing this, is people want to have monthly budgets, because I'm putting in my admin budget, I'm putting in my sales budget. I want to see that on a monthly basis. I'm just getting ready for it to actually play games again. So the other things is,